All right, Jesse on fire. Welcome back. Just on and off. Just finished my last video about DC, John Jones, Stipe, Tyson, and Roy Jones. And now I'm going to talk about Khabib and Conor McGregor and whether or not that, well, and Tony Ferguson and GSP, etc. What's next for Khabib? Because some of you guys may not have seen it, but his coach gave some pretty telling words, and I have some thoughts on those words. All right, so before I get into it, if you like the channel, subscribe, ring the bell, give me some support, man. I need it. Okay, look. I understand, everybody knows this is a unique channel with a unique character that is entertaining to watch, okay? But I still need everybody's help, all right? I need to get this thing moving, because as of right now, as the algorithm is concerned, I am like every other person who has under 10,000 subscribers, which is not a very big deal, okay? So I need to get us up to over 10,000, and then it snowballs. That is the way that I've always heard it. It's like you claw your way to 10, and then it'll snowball. So let's get it going. Anyway, but, I'm working hard, dude. I'm putting out a video a day, every single day, sometimes two, and I have a full-time job, okay? Like, do you understand what time I wake up in the morning to do these? Early. Anyway, so Khabib, here's the deal. So 2 conversations I saw with Khabib's coach that were very telling. Number 1 was about his relationship with his father, but I'm going to come back to that, okay? I'll come back to that. So the other one was about what his co-vision with his father was for his career. And it was always 30-0 legacy. That was it. It was 30-0 legacy. Now, I don't think anyone is going to be surprised to hear from someone who knows him better than, people like me who don't know him personally and just are making, estimations based on things they see, that Khabib is not a greedy man, okay? And he has more than enough money at this point to be done. Right? He has more than enough money to be done. So he does not have any financial incentive to continue to fight at all. Right? Like, to a person like him, to guys like, again, Khamzat Chimaev, when they asked him what he was going to do with his bonus, he literally looked like, he was like, what? I don't know, help some people. Right? And then he used the opportunity to, to trash Conor, which is kind of funny. I mean, it's just good fight game. Just good fight game. But I mean, listen, like, I think that in this country, in the United States at least, that because we have that whole thing, right, and this whole thing that we see over there, a lot of imagery around that culture is kind of portrayed negatively, and without people really even understanding a lot about it, right? Because like it's unbelievable the power that the media has. It really is. Like, it's not to say that particular subset is not super dangerous, worth every bit of concern that everybody has. But images are very powerful, man. Like, it's like, you think about, I don't know, like when we had mass shootings going on all the time, right? Like mass shootings in the United States, and the media was mass shootings. And they started talking about in other countries that they suggested that they not come visit the United States, like tourists, like the tourism board was saying, it's not a good time to visit the United States. It's very dangerous because of mass shootings. And I remember seeing that and being like, that's the most absurd thing I've ever seen. Like, I live in the United States. I've mass shootings. Like, I know we make like, they're tragic, of course, but like, they are definitely not a risk high enough to avoid traveling to the United States. Like, that is just ludicrous. Like, just absolutely ludicrous. And like, to me, I'm just like, it's just like the power of the media is unreal. I saw another thing, like, I saw this thing where Scotland was talking about, was talking about their lack of diversity in government. And I mean, it was unbelievable. Like, they sounded exactly like the people who talk about that in this country. And then the commentary, though, they're like, does anybody not realize, they're talking about the lack of black representation in the government. Well, it's Scotland. They have 1% population that's black. Like, and they actually talked about watching CNN in the government thing. And I'm like, it's so bizarre. Like, I'm not like, I'm not talking trash about it. It's just the power of the media is unreal. Like, where people watch the box and that is their reality. And so as it relates to, the culture that Khabib comes from, if people don't really know a lot about it, then, it's easy to default to like bad guy, And there's a lot about that culture that's amazing. As an example, they don't care about money. Like, they live simple. They want to take care of their family. Like, when you ask them, what are you going to do with this extra money? They say, I'm going to go help somebody. That is a cultural thing. And you think that that's not something that everybody should kind of go, wow, that's pretty cool. And I'm not saying that you can't be flashy and also help people, But I'm just saying, like, it's a default setting for them, right? And so as it relates to Khabib, if he has $50 million in the bank, he probably feels guilty about that. And, you know, hey, here's another 25 to fight Conor, a guy that you hate, who you already decisively beat, which no one is questioning whether or not you're better than. It's just not a huge motivator, right? And so one of the things that he said about his relationship with his father that I was like, man, that is like, it honestly makes me think about how he's going to do against Gaethje. Is he was like, there is no Khabib without his father. Like, they're like, their journey was 100% entwined, and he is still really suffering, of course. Like, he died like on, I remember it was 4th of July weekend. So like, we're talking like 5 weeks ago. Like, you think you shake that off in 5 weeks? Like, your mentor, your father that you were on your life journey with, like, dude, that is still a bowling ball in your gut, man. Like, it's just, it might never go away, but it'll get easier, but it's certainly not getting easier 5 weeks later. It's just like, you get routined. He probably still talks to him at night. It's like, he's just right there. And if his father and him had been talking about 30-0 legacy, okay, here's actually a perfect way for me to explain this, all right? If you watched The Last Dance, why did Michael Jordan go play baseball? Which this completely reshapes that, by the way, if you haven't watched The Last Dance. Why did Michael Jordan go play baseball? He did it because it was always his dad's dream for him to play Major League Baseball. And so Jordan left as the best NBA player in the world and went to go play baseball because that's what he thought his father wanted. And that was such a huge motivator for him. And you know what I loved about that documentary that I never knew before is that they said, everybody just hammered him when he first got in there. Like, they were like, oh, bag it, Mike. And he wasn't. And the guys who actually were playing with him, they were like, if it wouldn't have been for the strike, Jordan would have made the major leagues. And if you doubt that for 1 second, you are an idiot. Okay? If you doubt that for a millisecond, you're an idiot. You just don't understand who he was. He would have done it. Like, he would have done it. And it's just the power of, like, that feeling of, like, someone who was there with you. And, it sounds like Jordan had a pretty similar relationship with his father, but, like, probably not quite as much as Khabib. And, like, if you have something there that was kind of like a guiding principle that your dad had put in front of you, like, you should go play baseball, or you should retire 30-0 with legacy. There's not going to be many things that are much more powerful than that. Like, especially when it's so fresh, because given, like, let's say he beats Gaethje, which, I mean, literally, like, it's going to be a rough go, given how he probably feels right now, but let's say he beats Gaethje, right? He's 29-0, and he has one fight left. And to the point that his coach made, GSP is a legacy fight. That makes him 30-0. Or if Tony Ferguson gets a good win, that makes him 30-0. Okay? If you don't care about money, which is a more enticing fight if your goal is to go 30-0 with legacy? Okay? Conor's the last one you would fight out of those guys. Okay? If you have GSP, Tony, and even if Tony didn't get another win, even if Tony just waited it out and then literally didn't fight at all until after Gaethje and Khabib, like, there's just no question. Like, Tony is a bigger legacy fight, and so is GSP. And it'll be infuriating for fans because I want to see Conor fight everybody, obviously. But I'm just putting myself in Khabib's position. I just can't see it. I cannot see it. If that goal really is 30-0 with legacy, I don't see a way where he fights Conor. So, yeah, if we want to see Conor back, I think Gaethje needs to win. Khabib's a guy of principles, man. He like, when they offered him $100 million to fight in Abu Dhabi or whatever, he's like, why do I need that much money? I'm not saying he would turn it down, but that was his response. Like, why do I need that much money? So, and GSP has basically already said that he would come back to fight him. So, I'm rooting for him. Like, now, I want to see Conor come back. I want to see Conor fight Gaethje, but I can't root against Khabib going 30-0 and retiring. I just can't do it. No one does that. Like, you know what? No one ever has done that. No one ever has done that. So you want to have the GOAT conversation? As a matter of fact, you want to have the conversation about who's the GOAT? If Khabib beats Gaethje and then beats GSP and then retires, no conversation. No conversation. Undefeated. Beat every single comer. You could certainly make an argument that he should fight Tony, but that's it. I mean, he beat he got into a cage with every single fighter willing to fight in his weight class that was the elite of the elite, and he beat them all decisively. GOAT. There's no one else who's done it, right? There's no one else who's done it. John Jones, again, he's the only other person in the conversation, and juice pop. It's just, you can't give it to him. Juice pop. So anyway, that's what I got. Subscribe to the channel, ring the bell.